And we are live. Christi, you there?
Hey, Nino, I'm here.
Uh, Thank you, sis. We have Jenny here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an expose on Dan Schneider. This is going to be pretty good, I believe, from the speaking with Jenny here. She is a wealth of information. Jenny, thank you for being on the platform with me and Christy, and God bless everybody watching now and on the repeat. Jenny, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good, sis. Thank you for asking. Christy, you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, so we're going to start it from the beginning to the end with this situation. The stuff we've seen you tell us and the pics and the evidence you sent us, sis, we're really amazed. Jenny, please give a quick introduction as to who you are. Go ahead.
So, my name is Jenny, and I am a college student in Georgia, and I also work at a grocery store. And what I do for my free time is I like to talk about politics. And I also have been looking into some stuff about Nickelodeon and how disgusting and demonic these people are in Hollywood, and how heartbroken I am about, like, I used to be a fan of, like, the Dan Schneider shows I watched, but then after watching Quiet on Set and hearing Alexa Nicholas from, an actor from Zoe 101, and reading Jeanette McCurdy's book. Jeanette McCurdy is from iCarly, by the way. After hearing about this stuff, I cannot watch any of his shows without being disgusted.
Wow.
I agree. I agree. The stuff that you have sent me, you've been sending me the stuff for probably about 6 weeks now, 8 weeks now. And the more stuff that you would send me, Jenny, the more my mind was just blown. And for people,
Go ahead. I'm sorry. That
I'm
was me.
sorry.
Go ahead. I messed up. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and for the people that don't know who Daniel Schneider is, he was an American television producer, screenwriter, and actor. He has created and produced many children's shows on Nickelodeon from 1994 to 2019. Um, he has received, so Nickelodeon let him go, and he's received significant media coverage and controversy regarding allegations of inappropriate behavior. But yeah, Jenny can really get into all of that. She is, like you said, a wealth of information.
Jenny, I don't want to, ask like your age, but you grew up more on Nickelodeon. I think we all kind of did. I know I did. But how big of a part did Nickelodeon play in your childhood and upbringing, if you don't mind, before we get into this?
So I was an iCarly fan. I also watched Victorious and Zoe 101. I was part of a fan club of it, but it died down for many reasons, including this. And then the Drake and Josh was also another favorite show, and I used to talk about that show with my high school friends a lot. But then like I said, there was just a lot of stuff that came out, and a lot of these people who played my favorite characters, they had to go through a lot behind the scenes.
Okay. And when did you start figuring out that this was a wicked situation for all parties involved? When did your eyes open to this?
Well, it started when Alexa Nicholas from Zoe 101 came forward and talked about her experience. At first, I didn't believe in it because I was so attached to that nostalgia. But then um, when I heard about what's been going on in Hollywood, and how it's not just Nickelodeon, it's been going on forever, and like the basically about like this is just when I started my red pill journey. I heard about Hollywood and DC, and like how they're run by evil people, and it got to the point where I just can't take it anymore. And then Nick Fuentes, um he basically talked about how these people, they hate Jesus with a burning passion. And then when I look up Dan Schneider and Brian Peck and pretty much all these people, they hate Jesus.
Okay, let's get into the story at hand. There's a video coming out, right, Christy, about Dan Schneider. But if you were to explain this, like Christy said, we're old folks over here. But if you were to explain this to typical average American citizen that's not too well versed in this, how would you start by this? I would say like an onion, right? Put in these layers. Where would you start at? I would say from the beginning. But if people want to follow along, where would you start with telling this whole story and situation? Go ahead, Jenny.
So, how would I start this? So, basically, there were a lot of innuendos in his shows. And one of them was the feet, was like, there were a lot of feet. If you watch his shows, there were,
What?
yeah, feet. And
Okay, go ahead,
I
sis.
did not know that feet can be an I don't know if I can say the word, but
Fetish. Fetish.
yes. It's and then there was even a video of Ariana Grande doing stuff with, her feet, and then she was squeezing a potato and everything and pouring water on herself. I heard that someone tried to watch it, was sent that video, try to watch it. It was for adults only. Click confirm I'm an adult. It is a clip from a Nickelodeon show of Ariana Grande doing that disgusting stuff. And then um there were also Amanda Bynes from the Amanda Show. I guess she created this burner account, and she revealed that Dan Schneider, well, she said it was her boss when she was 13, but her boss when she was 13 was Dan Schneider. And Dan Schneider, I guess he got her pregnant, and then she had to go to the clinic, and the Planned Parenthood clinic, and get rid of it. And I don't know why Planned Parenthood did not report to the police or call child services. They just, put it away like it's nothing.
Yeah.
But now looking at her, I really can feel her pain.
But didn't she go through, Jenny, all kinds of substance abuse issues and all that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was put in this. I heard that she was put in this Adderall just to make her all hyper and everything for the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Jenny, she was impregnated by, you said, Dan Schneider, correct? That's what she alleges?
Yes, that's what she alleged.
And she was how old again?
13, and I guess he was 40.
Where is Dan Schneider right now?
He's he is filing a lawsuit for the documentary.
And
about him.
Okay, so let's continue. So you saw she made a burner account and made this statement. Is this when all the stuff started happening to Dan Schneider, like it started crumbling on him? Is this when everybody started paying attention?
I believe so.
Okay. So what happens next in the whole situation with her and him, and what happens after this?
Basically, they thought she was crazy, and then they put her in like this conservatorship of some sort, like with what Britney.
Like Britney, yeah.
Yes. And she's out of it, but now she has to every time people ask her about it, she doesn't even want to talk about it, which I don't blame her for not wanting to talk about it anymore. And she's trying to like become like, I guess, a nail tech of some sort, but um she just doesn't look the same. She doesn't look like how she was when she was like in her younger days. Like he basically swept all this joy away from her.
And you can tell by looking at her, I guess, right now. I mean, Amanda Bynes, I haven't really seen her out making. Has she been making movies or anything lately, or what's the last thing she's done? She's done.
I all I can remember is that she was like in, I think she was in this show, what I like about you, and then maybe there were like there might be some other movies, but that's all I can like remember. But that was like when she was like a teenager, really.
Okay, so these allegations come out, and what's the next thing that this guy or you, if you want to talk about Peck in a minute too, but what's the next thing that happens to Dan Schneider?
So Dan, um, it was revealed that Dan, so I don't know if you heard of Lori Beth. She was a star from All That. She was like she was known as the chubby one. She came forward and said that Dan showed her videos of girl like a donkey doing stuff, gross
Okay,
stuff to a girl. Like it was a corno stuff. And then he basically touched her in her chest area. And we can argue that she was 19 and whatever, but you don't do that. We don't do that to anybody. And also, like, he was like in his 30s when all of this was going on. And then I think she reported it to Brian Robbins, another Christ rejector, but he's the president of Nickelodeon and he's the president of Paramount. But he basically made an excuse saying that Dan Schneider was just going through something.
wow.
And then there was this, I think in the book that Jeanette McCurdy, the girl from iCarly, wrote about, like, it was mainly about her mom, but then she wrote stuff about the creator, who's by the way Dan Schneider, saying that he would get really close to her, and there were even videos of him scaring her and trying to make it like it's a joke. And he even I think he put his hands on her, and he tried to massage her. And then there were these two writers for the Amanda show that Dan Schneider hired. He made them he made them like give massages to him. And then the worst part about it is he asked one of the writers to bend over, talk about what she went through in high school, bending over and acting like she is receiving AS, like basically receiving
Okay,
something.
okay. If
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
and we're careful with our words, y'all, because we're on YouTube of all places. But if read it in between the lines. So you're piecing together all these things that are just I would say kind of hearsay, but you're saying people are giving testimonies and releasing this. They're in books and these are reports from people. So continue, sis. Sorry.
yeah, and then oh, Brian Hearn, he was an actor in the All That series. Um, he his mother, Tracy Brown, she would complain about the disgusting things that Dan will make these kids do. like one of the jokes, there was this one about Brian Peck with the pickle boy. And she was like, do the pickles not look like, this to you? And then she also complained about how Brian Peck had to lay down on the ground covered in peanut butter and have like all these dogs licking off on him. It was like for the on air theirs. And then she even complained about like, they had P. Diddy on set, by the way. And I remembered you posted a video about it, and the black kid was Brian. And the mom of Brian was separated. You know what they do? They separate the parents from the parents, not like all the parents, but the parents who are vocal about these things, because so that they can do whatever they want. But because she was complaining about the disgusting things, they fired the son. So, yeah, they always, I don't know, if the parents complain about what the kids have to do and everything, even if it is so disgusting, and even if it's like, even if they see that Nickelodeon is a casting couch, the kids are seen as the problem and they get fired or they get treated poorly.
Oh, I'm sure that they have it written in the contracts, Jenny, that, that they have to follow the producers and all of that. But, reading about some of this stuff, I was reading, like you said, that he required massages from the people, but then also gave massages, that he requested that there be a lot of bikini scenes, a lot of hot tub scenes. And the list just goes on and on. He was let go from Nickelodeon, but they never could find any like criminal charges to press on him, just all very inappropriate things. So you're absolutely right about them separating the parents. I'm sure the rebuttal every time was, well, you're in a contract. Well, you're in a contract.
So Jenny, can you touch on that? The hot tub scene with Amanda, we were talking about that before we went live. I got that on the thumbnail. I mean, what kind of grown man is going to sit in a hot tub with a young girl like that? Jenny, touch on that infamous clip there.
Oh yeah, so she was in a hot tub with him, and it was basically her interviewing him, and I don't remember like the whole dialogue, but I do remember her I remember her like asking him like, some questions, and he was like responding and everything. But all I can say is, I don't know why a grown man should be in a hot tub with a child. Absolutely not. If I see him do similar stuff to my daughter, I would lose it. And he also, I don't know if you saw the clip, but there was a clip of him, hugging Amanda Bynes, but it was like what you see with a boyfriend and girlfriend in the movies.
Well, like you said, he impregnated her, correct?
Yes.
It says that, whenever you read like some of his misconduct allegations, it says that that Nickelodeon parted ways with him in 2018. There were complaints about Schneider's behavior, that it said that he had a very nasty temper, and that he often on Twitter would post pictures of the feet of the young actresses who worked for him. In 2013, he sent a tweet soliciting pictures of feet from a target demographic of minors under the guise of a contest using the official Sam and Cat Twitter account. So he was trying to solicit feet pictures from minors. it said that in June of 2021, that Nickelodeon's decision to sever ties with Schneider came after its parent company, Viacom CBS, completed an internal investigation that found him guilty of verbally abusing his colleagues. They said that they did not find any evidence of the S word misconduct. But just like lots of stuff, like he pushed the line to where, he pushed the line is absolutely what he did, where he couldn't get charged with anything.
Wow. Jenni, you want to touch on the other man, the Christ rejector, talk about this other guy. Introduce this other fellow into the equation. This is all pieced together, y'all. Y'all see how it all connects in a minute. Go ahead, Jenni.
Okay, so we have Brian Peck, or which I like to call him Lying Peck. He was, Dan Schneider said that he didn't hire him, but Dan Schneider, you did. You hired him to do one of your shows, and he played a clown. By the way, speaking of clowns, Brian Peck is friends with John Wayne Gacy, and John Wayne Gacy did a lot of terrible stuff to boys.
Yes, he did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then he had Brian Peck as Pickle Boy in all that. And there was a scene where Brian Peck and Ray Romano, it's that scene, Ray Romano was in the bathroom, and then Brian Peck puts one of the pickles through a hole, and Ray Romano was eating it in a way that's so gross. But if you Google Glory, HOLE, that is what this scene is. And I don't know why it was there. And then, and I heard that Brian Peck, he is the director of the Willies. He asked Michael Bower, an actor from this show, and he's also an actor from Salute Your Shorts. He asked Michael to go to the bathroom with him because they did like a maggot scene where Michael was like covered in maggots. And Brian wanted to go to the bathroom with Michael so that Brian can remove the maggots from all the holes in his body. And Michael was like, no. The only person that's going to the bathroom with me is my dad. And there it was.
Wow.
And there were clips of Brian Peck being weird with Leonardo DiCaprio. And then there was also this lady that came forward, and Alexa Nicholas talked about this on her channel. You might have to check her out. But this lady, she saw Brian Peck being, weird around boys, like minors. And she complained about it to the assistant directors, I believe. And one of them was Beth Carell, who wrote a letter in support of him. When she complained about it, they told her to be quiet and, that she's being crazy and she's overreacting. And then she got fired because she was complaining too much. But Brian Peck got I guess he got promoted, or I don't know. And then we get to the Drake Bell part. Drake Bell's father noticed that Brian Peck, who, by the way, is the dialogue coach from the Amanda Show. And that was where Drake Bell got his start. He noticed that Brian Peck was touching, being around Drake way too much, and when he could just be around other kids.
Hey, Jenni, just so people know who Drake Bell is, he was on Nickelodeon also, correct?
Yes, he was.
He's
Josh.
Didn't he come through with the book, or he exposed him also down the line?
He was but he was in the documentary Quiet on Set. He was. Okay. Yeah. But,
okay, go ahead, sis. Go ahead.
Yeah, his dad noticed a lot of red flags. And then his dad complained to, I think, the higher ups in Nickelodeon about this. The higher ups told him, you know what? Brian Peck is just a homosexual. You are homophobic. And basically told the father to F off.
Wow.
And um,
So hold on, Jenny. Brian Peck is part of the LGBT community, and
He is.
he is Jewish, correct? He's not a Christian, and this is the guy that has wielding a lot of power. And once they try to confront him, he uses the the anti slur stuff, and they disregard the allegations. Correct?
yes.
Wow. Okay. Continue. Sorry.
Okay, so the Brian Peck, he convinced Drake Bell that, you know what, your father is stealing money from you, because his father was the manager of Drake Bell. So your father is taking money from you. You need to, your father should not be the manager. And and keep in mind that Drake Bell's parents, like, they're separated. So, and the father has custody. Guess what? Brian Peck was able to convince Drake Bell to cut ties with his father and the mother of Drake Bell to have custody with Drake. And, and then the dad had to hand over everything to the mother, but the dad did tell her, do not let my son be alone with Brian Peck.
Wow.
She didn't listen. She let Brian Peck drive Drake Bell from his house to San Diego. And Brian Peck was going to every concert that Drake Bell has, even if it's so far away. And he would even try to get Drake Bell to hang out with him. He would even have Drake Bell have his birthday parties in his house. And I heard that there were inappropriate jokes in the birthday cards that Drake Bell received from Brian and his friends. And then there was this one time when Drake Bell was sleeping in Brian's house. He woke up, and that's when the abuse, like, he woke up to being abused.
Wow.
And then it kept going on for months and months and months. And Drake Bell described it as the worst form of essay that anybody can receive. And then I don't know why Dan Schneider reached out to Drake Bell and asked, like, were you the one that Brian Peck did? I don't know why he did that,
Mm-mm-mm.
but I think he did that just so that Drake Bell can say that Dan Schneider can't do any harm on anybody, because Dan Schneider was cared about Drake at that time. But if he really did, why didn't he stop it right away? That's just my question for Dan. Like, why didn't you stop it right away if it really, really, like, bothered you? And then I think Brian Peck wanted to be the father in the Drake and Josh show. That made Drake Bell so grossed out that he told his mom everything. The police got involved, and Brian Peck got arrested. And
Wow.
Brian Peck even admitted to what he did. He admitted
There,
that he did it.
there is not a worse combination than the Alphabet Crew with the Christ Rejector.
I totally agree.
Mhm.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yes, and then when Drake Bell went to court, and this really disgusts me, it was just on Drake's side, it was his mom, his brother, and his brothers, and that was it. Brian's side, it was Brian and all these celebrities, 50 of them. 41 of them wrote letters in support of him. And Um, yeah, and the two of the people, Beth Carell and her husband, they hired him to work at Zack and Cody after he was convicted as an SO.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so just so everybody knows, he is a convicted SO and former actor. He was arrested in 2003 for essaying Drake Bell, who was between 14 and 15 during the incident, and was sentenced to 16 months of only 16
Wow.
months of prison the following year. He was convicted on 2 counts of a lewd act upon a child. I can't say other stuff
Wow.
that he was, but that he did. But just disgusting. But you know what got him out of the most trouble is the Christ rejecter status.
He had connections. Jenny, so
Yeah.
there's two of them, right? Two pervs over here, Dan Schneider and this other guy. What's his name again, Christy?
Brian Peck.
Brian Peck and Dan Schneider. So what are the connections or the implications as far as them in relation to like being connected in the industry? And I'm gonna open up the phone lines in a minute if anybody wants to call in. But how deep does this go with the Nickelodeon? Because I even heard that Nickelodeon, the actual symbol, I posted this, went viral. It looks like Epstein's Island, and I'll leave it at that. I know you saw that, sis. I posted it on all platforms. But how deep does it go, in your opinion, as far as who's running everything and just, the evil tentacles that may be involved, in Nickelodeon, which we know there's even worse things across the whole entertainment industry. But your thoughts on how deep this goes with, I guess, the owners and who's running everything and how corrupt are they?
Oh, they are very connected. It's
Wow.
not like they are like working separately. They come together and they attack, like they go after the vulnerable ones. It's either women or children. And the crazy thing, I want to say this, Milo, another, he said that he is no longer gay, but he, according to Nick Fuentes, he's a liar and he's a Christ rejecter as well.
Wow.
He almost did the same thing to Nick Fuentes.
What do you mean?
So what Brian Peck did to Drake Bell is what Milo tried to do to Nick Fuentes.
How the hell did Nick Fuentes have Milo so close to him?
Well, I mean, because they were working with Ye, and then
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Then Milo tried to give Nick some candy. Nick was like, I don't want any of your candy. And then Milo tried to get Nick to share a bed with him.
Who said this, sis?
Nick Fuentes talked about it on a
Wow.
Twitter space that he did. And if he, and that's the only time I really heard about it. But it's just proof that they all they're all the same, in my opinion. There's no distinction, really. They're all. And Milo also did was in like all these gross parties in Hollywood. And by the way, Brian Peck and Dan Schneider did like these pool parties together with children. No supervision whatsoever. They don't allow parents to be with these children.
Jenny, I got a question. Someone said not only her, but Britney Spears' sister was impregnated by him. You heard about that?
Yes. Oh, yes. Well, Britney Spears' sister said, "Oh no, this is not what happened." I don't believe her, but I will say that there was this clip. I sent this to Christi where Dan Schneider's like, Jamie Lynn Spears thinks I'm cute.
What
Jamie Lynn Spears thinks, all like just weird stuff. And then
I saw something about that.
And then when Jamie Lynn Spears got pregnant, that was when Britney Spears lost herself.
Wow.
I think Britney Spears knows something, but she doesn't know how to process it. I would know if I find out that any of my siblings were essayed by especially by a grown man. I wouldn't even know how to deal with it.
I mean, we seen her go crazy with the knives and cutting her hair. I mean, that's probably added to her, going cuckoo for a little bit, I would say. Who knows?
Well,
I just want to say this real quick. I have a family member that was essayed, and it's something that affects the whole family, everybody. It's a tragedy, and I can only imagine if I was the person's father, how I would take it. But it's not a joke, y'all. It's very sad. That's why we use our platforms to expose these people. We started with Dan Masterson. We started with SPM, right, Christy? Dan Masterson.
Yeah.
And then now this dude, Dan Schneider, with old Brian Peck as well.
Brian Peck.
And, and the thing is, y'all, it's kind of crazy if you think about it. I think a lot of us can agree that they're all connected. From Hollywood, Nickelodeon, the music industry, and then you find out who's the controlling powers that be, and I'll let you, use your imagination. But I think the facts are right there. Who has all the power? Who controls the media? Who runs these, these powerful organizations and companies? It's pretty apparent, y'all. But we're trying to, gently feed this to everybody, and we don't want to get banned over here. But I say it's all connected. Christy, go ahead.
No, so, just reading more about this, like if you really just start reading into this about all the people that have said how schmexualized the sets were and stuff like that, said that Alexa Nicholas, who appeared in Zoe 101 for 2 seasons, said that during her time on the show, she did not feel safe around Schneider, that he had pressured her to wear revealing clothing and responded to her complaints about the way her co-star, Jamie Lynn Spears, treated her by screaming at her. Lori Beth Denberg, who appeared in All That from 1994 to 1998, accused Schneider of touching her inappropriately, showing her the P word and adult videos, and attempting to initiate phone S with her when she was just turning 19 years old. So he pushed the lines in every single way. There are so many people that were saying the set was very very schmexualized. Yeah. Wow. And that's just the best way. Yeah.
Jenni,
it's crazy.
I'm going to open up the phone lines. Do you mind, Jenni, before I do so?
Oh, sure. Open it up. I'm
going to open the phone lines if anyone wants to call in and give your take on it. I don't know, Jenni, anything else you want to add to this whole situation for anybody just jumping on, or if you want to, say anything else that we didn't add on the video?
So I know where Brian Peck lives, by the way. He lives near playgrounds, schools, like elementary schools, preschools, nurseries. Even though he was convicted for stuff like that. I don't know why he lives near these places. He shouldn't. They even have these S offenders living near these places. I don't know why they live near these places that have children, but they shouldn't.
Jenni, you watched that show. I guess there's another one coming out, but what were your thoughts on that show? What was it called? You said it earlier.
Quiet on Set.
What are your thoughts about that show?
I got mad after watching it, and I was going off on Twitter. Yeah, you're gonna get mad. You're gonna get really, really mad, and that's just how I would say it. Like, I got so, like the first episode, it made me feel uncomfortable. And then the second episode, and then when we get to the fourth episode, I was like, that's it. I want to go protest against Nickelodeon because I'm done.
What was your biggest takeaway of that that series? Should I say?
Dan Schneider, he was complicit, and if he and he's also a liar. He even released like this fake apology video. He said that, oh, if you have an issue with the inappropriate stuff in my shows, just let me know and I'll get rid of it. Um, really, there were people trying to tell you to get rid of it, but you have like so much power that if they complain, you would fire them and stuff. And
Wow.
then also, Dan, you want to get rid of the inappropriate stuff. Okay, then you might as well not have a show at this point, because there are so many foot stuff. There were even scenes where you have like these kids squirt stuff in people's faces, like a C shot, and then there was like there's a lot, Dan. There's a lot of inappropriate stuff. So you're not gonna have a show if you delete all this. Okay? And then Brian Peck, there's a place in hell for him, in my opinion. There was this girl, Kimmy Robertson. I guess she worked with Brian Peck. She was in the Willies with him. I think that's all I can remember about her. She wrote the worst letter in support of Drake Bell. And she even said that, oh, Brian Peck was tempted. And there's no homosexual man that will go for Drake Bell. And basically blaming Drake for it. And
Wow. That's what they always do.
Out with him. There were photos of her hanging out with him, like they were best friends, and she would post that on Instagram.
I guess, to be honest, I should have made the thumbnail with Brian Peck. He sounds like one of the biggest monsters himself. So you're saying with his religious background, I think they all share the same religious background, or whatever they are. But would you agree that they have connections and these people cover for each other? Go ahead.
Oh yes, they do, and they run Hollywood, and that's why Hollywood is a safe haven for these creeps. And unfortunately, with Drake Bell, he ended up. I heard that he continued this cycle of SA because he didn't have I think it's one of those things where he didn't have anyone to go to, so he ended up doing. He wasn't
What
convicted of
would have been done to him?
but he ended up doing a girl accused him in court.
Wow.
Doing similar, like him doing similar stuff to her, like SA, but he wasn't charged with it, but he was accused of it. And I wouldn't be surprised if that accusation is true at this point, because
Wow.
yes. And then he was doing he was eating candy, and then that girl, that girl is the same girl that accused him for child endangerment. So
Jenni,
he ended up.
no, go ahead. Sorry.
So he ended up becoming Brian Peck himself in a way.
Well, I always say they don't reproduce; they recruit. So
That's right.
let me go ask you this question: your thoughts on Nickelodeon? Is it a wholesome family entertainment channel / whatever it is? Is it something that parents should let their kids watch or support?
At this point, I would say no. Look at what Nickelodeon means in English from Latin.
What does it mean?
It basically means that it's translated as "I hate God."
I've actually seen that. So You know what's crazy, ladies and gentlemen that are watching? God bless everybody. We got the poll up. The poll says 91% believe Nickelodeon's wicked, and I guess 99% believe that it's not. But whenever you mess around with our kids, that's one thing, and it's pretty sick and perverse when people like Schneider and Peck and all those involved, do this kind of comedy, and even if it's kind of hidden or whatever, that's like even worse. Christy, you agree? Like this is family entertainment. And there these perverts are, like throwing weird, scenes in there. So Jenny, you would say that there is a lot of clips of just that kind of crap, right? I'm careful with my words here.
Yes, a lot of clips, and there's a lot on TikTok, and I oh my gosh, like I don't know how much I can fit on my phone at this point, but again, Dan Schneider said that if you see something, just tell him about it and he would take care of it. There goes his show.
It's all gone at that
But
point.
you know what? I have to say shame on the parents too. It said that there were lots of parents on the set that agreed and approved to some of the things that were being said and done. And I think that without proper guidance for children and all of this, I just want to talk about Amanda Bynes for just a minute. Talking about, things that I've read about her mental health and substance abuse problems. She was charged in 2012 with a DUI. And 2 years later, the charge was dropped and she was given 3-year probation. In May 2013, she was charged with reckless endangerment and possession after she was found smoking in the lobby of a Manhattan apartment building. She apparently threw her bong out the window. I'm sorry, that's kind of funny. But a New York County judge dismissed that. Now remember, she is a Christ rejecter also.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay,
she
and
is.
ladies and gentlemen,
she practices.
What does she practice?
She's a Jew. She's Jewish. Yeah. In July 2013, sheriff deputies detained her after she allegedly started a small fire in the driveway of a stranger's home in Thousand Oaks. She was hospitalized under a 72-hour psychiatric evaluation, and then her parents filed for conservatorship. She said in 2014, she accused her father of emotional and abuse in a series of tweets.
The Jenni family, by the way.
Her father, what?
Right.
Yeah, he's the one, and I think her mom. I don't know what her mom might be a different religion. I don't know if she's a Christian or anything, but I know that
it said that I think that her mom was Jewish and her father was Catholic, is what. Yeah. Dang. And so it just says that then she said that none of that against her father was true. And she said the microchip in her brain made me say those things. But her father is the one that ordered them to microchip me. Days later, they received conservatorship of her. So, these parents knew what was happening to their children on set, and shame on them.
And even people in the comments are just using the word, groomer. It's like I always said it, ladies and gentlemen. I would never want my kids to be connected to Hollywood, to even being TikTok stars, none of that stuff. All that stuff, in my opinion, is detrimental to children. You never really hear about these kid stars, doing too good in their latter part of their lives. They're labeled crazy, end up broke. And look at Orlando Brown. He's kind of like throwed off. And I don't know, just a lot of this stuff is connected, y'all. And we're just here to expose what we can and say it the way we can on YouTube and all the platforms. But it's tough, y'all, because these platforms are controlled by them. It's all connected. I think one day when it's all said and done, if we were to know how truly connected they all were, we probably would even have a smartphone in our pockets. Jenny, anything you want to add before we end this segment? Because I wanted to ask you about Left Eye, but go ahead.
Yeah. So, there is a lot of connection with these Christ rejectors and children programming. And by the way, the worst part about this, Brian and Dan are not the only ones. There was Jason Handy who sent photos of himself playing with his balls to a young girl. The mom was questioning on whether or not she should call the police. I'm like, why is that even a question? And then the mom chose not to. And then there was a case against him that there was a case against him that he had like all these Ziploc bags of the stuff that he got from these girls and all that. He even have like a lot of adult film of these girls, and
Wow.
he even had in his diary, I am a PDF file full blown.
Wow.
And how much of a big PDF file he is. And he ended up being arrested, and he even got arrested. He got arrested for the same stuff twice, by the way. The first time was in Nickelodeon. Second time, it was in his hometown.
Wow.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to add something to this, Christy, before I end this segment out. Like I said, I want to touch on Left Eye. Jenni is a Left Eye fan, and she has a lot of info on her. Go ahead, Christy.
No, I just think that like it's so obvious, all of these people that we talk about, and their religion and how nothing serious happens to them, and we just see it over and over. As a matter of fact, anybody that wants to look up the Weinstein effect, read all about that. That's how the Me Too movement started.
What? Wow.
Yeah. Look up the Weinstein effect, and that's how the Me Too movement started. It's kind of like we've talked about every episode, lately is these parents, like, part of it's their fault. Know who you're getting into contracts with. If you want your child to be a star, then you're signing up with the devil, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Totally agree. Yes. Here we go. And someone, hey everyone from Spring No Electricity. Is she talking about Big Springs? Anyways, but Jenni, so we're gonna end this part of it. Jenni, what's up with Left Eye? Your thoughts on her? I know you're a big fan of hers, and you're young, of course. I don't know if she was before your time. I think so. But your thoughts on Left Eye? Go ahead, because you have a pretty good grasp on her whole personality and her character. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, she's like my she is just like she's just like me when in my high school days, basically. Like, I would watch a lot of videos of her, but she's a very, out of all the girls, she's the most vocal person. She's very rebellious. And then I think when she is out of all the girls, like she wanted to do like a solo career, and she was hanging out with these like evil people. I think they are evil in a way. T-Boss and Chili, I heard they try to like give her some pushback on it, but she had a hard time listening to them. And I think that the way they were doing it, they were not really kind about it. They were very, they were getting mad at her. And then she went to Honduras to like get some cleanse. And then when she was driving, her and, well, actually she was not driving first. It was like her assistant was driving. They got in a car accident, and there was the boy that died from that wreck. His last name is Lopez, but It wasn't with an S. It was with a Z. And he had the same shoe size as Left Eye. And Left Eye said, I have a feeling that Def is going after me, but they got the wrong person.
And Jenni, there was part of her documentary, right, where she was claiming that Death, you said, was like chasing her, right? Like she was kind of like, I would say, going crazy, but this was like part of her in her last days, right? She made these claims and acting erratic, but go ahead.
Yes, and I feel like it's because of, I think that when you
Wow.
hang out with people who have evil spirits, you have like the I think because she was hanging out with evil people, she became like a victim of these people. And again, T-Boss and Chili tried to warn her. And then weeks later, she got in a car wreck. She got into like a car wreck, and she died. I don't know how it's possible for her to be the only one to die. I mean, there are some theories that she was unalived by somebody. Um, and I heard that there were a lot of, maybe it was her assistant, maybe it was her sister. I don't know which is true. Um, but then crazy thing about this is that she died a month after my ex was born, and my ex from high school was a Christ rejecter.
Wow.
Yes, and then she was in Cousin Skeeter, which was a show that had Jason Handy, the the pedo in Nickelodeon, by the way. Um, she and then when my friend was watching, where they talked about Jason Handy, he was crying through his left eye.
So you're saying that this is like rumors, or there's like I guess conspiracies on her death, basically.
Yeah, a lot of conspiracies.
Jenny, Vision Omega says she went to get treatment from Doctor Sebi. Is that true?
Yes.
And what do you think about?
He is a
Go ahead.
he's a Honduran self-proclaimed herbalist healer who also practiced plant-based alkaline diets. He also was the one. He denied that HIV caused AIDS. He also believes that he was the one that tried to get Michael Jackson off of painkillers.
Wow.
And yeah, he said that he has treated celebrities like Michael Jackson, Lisa Left Eye, that we're talking about, and John Travolta.
Crazy.
He has 17 children.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Very fertile guy there. Okay, so so sis, you follow Left Eye, or you of course you liked her, and everybody, this is Jenny. Everybody, she's a young college goer, right? Sis, you going to college?
Yes.
I would ask you this: is what's the outlook on the campus? Is it brainwash? Is it brainwashing happening on the campus?
There is like, I guess in some classes, yes, like there's, but I'm not taking like any of these history classes. I'm taking like math classes. So like I'm in a different major, but then there are even some classmates that I kind of have to like push myself back on, because like I don't want to, it's like I want to say something, but it's like, should I even say it? Is this gonna, and I even was part of Young Women for America, but I got removed. And the crazy thing about it is they didn't even tell me that they had an issue with the things that I say until my removal. Like they just removed me off the block. Like I didn't even expect that. But it's either they're jealous of me or it's that I support Nick. And yeah, and then there was this guy, he's like the boyfriend of the president of Young Women for America. He basically was trying to talk me, and he's also leader of this college Republicans thing in my college. He tried to talk me out of supporting Nick, but I was pretty stubborn about it. And he was the only one that was complaining about me supporting Nick, and no one else complained about it. But then when I got removed, it's like, wow, they have issues? Why didn't they go to me about it? Like very shady of them. And then I remember this girl, she makes comments about my facial expressions, and she would be like, "Oh, you dress so nice. I can't even do that." But the way she was doing it was like, you know, jealous.
And ladies and gentlemen, Jenni is a conservative. You are a Christian, correct?
Yes, and that organization claims to be that way. And the one thing that made me upset is when she said, um, "Oh, you know, if you have a good relationship with God, you should be supporting Israel." And I'm like, okay, so you support so having a good relationship with God, according to her, is supporting a country that kills a lot of babies in Gaza. But yet you claim to be pro-life. And if you look at my Twitter, I got into it with a girl who, I mean, she was not in Young Women for America, but she was one of the girls that got me kicked out. And she said that I was so full of myself in the Bible studies I was in, and she never went to any of them. But she told me that someone told her that, and I don't know who it was, but I have a feeling it might be the boyfriend of the president.
So, Jenni, I ain't trying to get too political here, so I guess we're trying to kind of reel it in here. Christi, you there?
I am here.
Yeah, this is Jenni, y'all, from Instagram. Thank you, sis, for being on the live. Any final words you want to tell everybody else on here? We're talking about Dan Schneider, Peck, the pervert, and a little bit of Left Eye Lopez. Go ahead, Christi. Final words before we hand it over to Jenni.
I think that I just kind of said it all. I'm not even going to go back into all the, kids need protection and all of that. I've already said that. Jenni is a bright, young patriot. We had her and the two Stevens on the show, and just really have always, respected the stuff that she's brought to me and said to me. And she's out there, fighting for people's rights and stuff like that. I really am glad you came on today, Jenni.
Yes, Jenni, we appreciate you, sis. You are the future of America, and with your conservative Christian values, we appreciate the younger generation, y'all. This is you're looking at her right here. Final words, Jenni. Go ahead.
Yes, I do. So, all I can say is I'm so thankful to be in this platform to talk about these things. And I am looking forward to protesting Nickelodeon hopefully I will have enough money for it, but it would be coordinated by Alexa Nicholas, and it will be, I think it will be July 13 on a Saturday. I'm not so sure. You might have to ask her for details, but yes. And I also want to give Alexa Nicholas all the credits. I know that me and her, that we don't think the same. We don't support all the same stuff, but she really gave me a lot of the insight that I needed. And I also want to thank you guys for basically using your platforms to talk about these things that are going on with Hollywood and child actors. And I also want to thank Nick for being the gateway to my journey in politics.
Yeah, I'm a big supporter of him. I'm gonna type his name in the comments. I don't even want to say it out loud. The dude gets shadow banned and restricted at all angles. Again, thank y'all for joining us on the live. Jenni, Christi, God bless y'all. Christ is Lord. You have a blessed night, and we're out of here. Thank you again.
Nino, can I say one more? Can I say one more thing before we end?
Yeah.
Everybody, we have new membership packages.
Oh, yeah.
We are building out new emojis and new perks. So there's 3 different package levels. You can check it out on Nino's main page on the YouTube, and it says subscribe, which we're all usually subscribed, but right next to it is join, and it really helps support this channel.
Amen. Thank you, Christi. Thanks everybody for watching, and we're out of here.
Bye.